Hi guys, welcome back to D Show and Tell. When it comes to phone battery, there are two ways you can approach it. You can do what Samsung did with the M51 and strap on a 7000 mAh battery, which would last you more than 2 days. Or you can give it a smaller but decent sized battery that lets you charge from 0 to 100 in under 20 minutes. And that's exactly how Xiaomi have approached it with the 11T Pro with its 120 watt charge speed, which they've released back in October this year. And yes, I know I'm a bit late to be giving a review on this phone, but it's better late than never. And with the Xiaomi 12 phones around the corner, well, it begs the question whether 11T Pro is the Xiaomi to get, or should you just wait out for the 12? Let's find out. Firstly, in the box, you get a USB-C charge cable, all the standard warranty and manuals, a phone case, and the 120 watt fast charger. More on that later. Here is the 11T Pro in all its glory. That is the tried and true 6.67 inch screen that you see on many Chinese phones. It's 1080p, 120Hz, HDR10 Plus AMOLED with Gorilla Glass Victus on the front, and it gets plenty bright at 1000 nit peak brightness. Just walking around the phone quickly, on the right side you have the volume rockers and the power button, which is also a very responsive fingerprint sensor. Nothing on the left side. At the top you have a Harman Kardon speaker port which works in stereo with the bottom speakers. They get plenty loud and they sound great too. At the bottom, you also have a USB-C port and a dual SIM card tray. Unfortunately, you don't get a micro SD card slot here. Finally, on the rear, you've got a triple camera setup at the rear with a small camera bump. Xiaomi 5G branded near the bottom. It is a glass back, and I have the phone here in meteorite grey, but it also comes in moonlight white and celestial blue. It is a gloss finish and does attract fingerprints. Overall, I don't think it's very inspiring in the looks department. Nothing that really stands out to say it is 11T Pro. And if you weren't all that into phones, you could probably mistake it for another Chinese branded phone. Spec-wise, it's what you expect from a 2021 higher-end model, but not a flagship. It's got the Snapdragon 888 with the Adreno 660. It runs Android 11 and MIUI 12.5. The model I have here is an 8GB RAM and 128GB storage model, but it does come in 12GB RAM and 256GB storage as well. The storage is UFS 3.1, which is blazing fast. Wi-Fi 6, NFC, infrared, and a 5000 mAh battery. It's also IP53 dust and splash proof, which isn't for submersion, so no dippity dips please. Most people are going to be fairly pleased with the cameras on the 11T Pro. It's got 3 on the back, a 108 megapixel wide, 8 megapixel ultra wide, and 5 megapixel telephoto macro that shoots up to 8K at 30 frames per second. You've got a 16 megapixel wide at the front that is limited to 1080p. Photos come out with great detail and colors. Dynamic range is really good here. You'll want to ensure you turn on the full 108 megapixels when you can if you want to get the best results. The ultra-wide camera does lose some detail as you would expect, and the macro camera were detailed and colors were punchy. Low light photos were excellent. They were sharp, great dynamic range and accurate colors, and night mode does bring more brightness into the picture at the cost of accuracy, and of course takes a bit longer to shoot. Video quality is excellent, and even when walking has quite stable video. Colors look fantastic too. Just so you know, I'm actually using the phone to shoot my future videos as well. On to performance. Undoubtedly, you're going to have a great experience with the Snapdragon 888. Day-to-day use, it was very snappy as you would expect. Here are my Geekbench and Intuitive benchmark scores. I've also done some testing on Call of Duty, Asphalt 9 and Genshin Impact. Nothing to call out here, great all-round performance. Phone does get a bit warm as do all 888 chips, but never uncomfortably so. Now, it wasn't all peachy, but that was more MIUI being MIUI, so let's talk about that. The 11T Pro runs MIUI 12.5 on Android 11. What I really appreciate about it is its really nifty features they bake into the software. You've got dual apps, which allows you to have 2 of the same app, which can be logged into different accounts, which I found very useful for my different eBay accounts. Second Space, which allows you to have 2 separate logins to your phone, allowing you to customize the first space as, say, your personal, and maybe the second space as a more work or productivity oriented space like I do. For the unfaithful out there, maybe you could use it to keep your nasty secrets in the second space. That's not me, but if that's you and you don't want me to dob you into your partner, you should probably like and subscribe. Anyway, back to the 11T Pro. There are other features I didn't really use, which include the video toolbox, game turbo for game settings, and floating windows to pull notifications into a floating window. But I did like the option they give to change the pull down menus to make it more Apple-esque, which could make it a great transition phone for iPhone users to join the Android Mardi Gras. All these features are fun and dandy, but it's the reliability of the software that really caught my attention. I had a couple apps crash here and there, but also using that second space would sometimes bug out and my phone would go all choppy and laggy until I lock and unlock the phone again. There were sporadic occurrences, a couple of each over the course of a week, but that would be enough to annoy some people. I'm also not a fan of the baked-in Me account, just another entity harvesting your data. I feel the same way about Samsung account too. All Androids should stick to just a Google account and leave it at that. Alright, the main event, that 120 watt charger. I'm really impressed that Xiaomi included it in the box, considering you got the likes of Apple and Samsung not including a charger in the box at all nowadays. Charging the 5000 mAh battery took a smidge over 20 minutes, which is blazing quick. If you don't charge your phone overnight, you could hop in the shower, do your morning bog, and come back to a fully charged battery. Okay, we know that's unlikely. A filthy animal like you wouldn't go to the toilet without your phone. Anyway, that 5000 mAh battery will last you about a day and a bit. It is a AAA chip which does tend to suck more juice than a mid-range device, where the M4 Poco with a similar sized battery would have about 30 to 40% battery life in the tank after a day. The 11T Pro tends to have about 10 to 20%. Now finally, let's talk about this phone as an overall package. If you can get past the small software niggles here and there, this is a pretty complete device. Great performance, cameras, charge speeds. I think the only things I would want are wireless charging, and I'm also personally not a fan of this ongoing big phone trend. I prefer my devices to be closer to 6 inches. If they could strap a decent sized battery on that, I'll be pretty stoked. That 120 watt charge, while it's good if you're in a battery pinch, given the sufficient size of the battery to get you through a day, its use case does become a bit limited if you charge your phone overnight. As you know, the faster the charge speed, the more strain it puts on the battery, and given the relatively new introduction of the 120 watt charge, we don't have any real data on its battery degradation. Xiaomi and other smartphone manufacturers say it's fine, so we'll just have to wait and see. What I haven't mentioned is its price. The 11T Pro currently goes for $509, whereas the rumored price of the Xiaomi 12 is $580. We might even see further price drops as soon as the Xiaomi 12 releases. Now the Xiaomi 12, as a quick comparison, will be smaller in size, 6.28 inches. We'll also have MIUI 13, which I will cover when I get my hands on it. It has a new Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, which does show strong performance improvements. Camera specs are a drop in megapixel down to 50, but a switch to the new Sony IMX707 sensor, which is supposed to provide better low light performance, and the selfie cam is now a 20 megapixel HDR that shoots up to 1080p at 60 frames per second. At this stage, we won't know how the cameras compare. As you know, camera specs aren't everything, which the Google Pixel phones demonstrate time and time again. The phone battery size does drop down to 4500 mAh, charges at 67 watts, but has 30 watt wireless charging. All of that does make it a tough comparison and will come down to what's important to you. But one thing for sure, I say don't make the shiny new chip the reason of choice. That 888 is plenty fast enough for everything. If you prefer a slightly smaller phone, don't mind the smaller battery, must have the fastest chip, don't need the 120 watt fast charging and prefer to have wireless charging, then the Xiaomi 12 might be right for you. If you don't mind the bigger phone, no wireless charging, and really think the 120 watt fast charging fits your lifestyle, I think the 11T Pro is an excellent choice, even in 2022. And if you do want to jump on it, I have an affiliate link below if you want to help out the channel. You don't pay anything extra, but I do get a small commission from the platform itself. So tell me in the comment section below what you think of the 120 watt fast charging. Do you think it's useful or just another gimmick? Well, that's all from me this time. New videos every week. Merry belated Christmas, everybody, and see you in the new year for the next show and tell. Bye bye.